Hey guys, I'm Birdie and welcome back to my channel. This is Clown Cows. Disclaimer. Anything I say, write, imply, or speculate on is my personal thoughts and opinions and should never be taken as fact, because it's not. This channel, including in the comment section, is nothing more or less than the sharing of personal opinions and views on publicly accessible information made public by its owners. I'm a flawed human, and my opinions will be flawed as well. I'm also an expert in nothing, so if you start feeling some type of way by what I'm saying, please seek professional advice. Okay, let's get started. In today's video, I would like to look at something that may be extremely controversial, but I'm going to share my thoughts anyway because that's what we do here. I'd like to consider the hidden blessing behind Amber not having children and not being in a relationship where she has access to or influence over young people. We all know that her current interest, the feeder, has a child, and we were told that Amber displayed behaviors consistent with jealousy over the feeder choosing, at least at times, to prioritize her child. One instance that we were told about was the feeder allegedly saving up money for a vacation intended for her and the child, and then Amber becoming allegedly irate over the prospect that something was being planned that wasn't for or about her. Although Amber has never had children, we have seen how she filmed herself interacting with them, including a 15-year-old child of whom Amber ended up telling extremely explicit sexual information to involving lesbian intimacy, and Amber laughed about it. Not only did she laugh about it, but she filmed it and she posted it online for hundreds of thousands of people to see as if there was nothing wrong with what she did. We've also seen how Amber has disrespected and mocked the seriousness of the death of a partner's very, very young nephew. And we've heard Amber tell us tiny stories, sentences really, where we can pick out clues. When she would be shopping with ex-partners, like in the children's section, for example, for family members, and Amber would basically imply that if she had a baby, she would treat it like an accessory and dress it up in a way to garner attention. Amber would point out things that she would put on her child, and then she would laugh about it because she knew that it was ridiculous, and she would say, well, why not? To me, it's clear that parenting would be nothing more than a game to Amber. A game of tug-of-war regarding attention, and a game of jealousy if Amber didn't win tug-of-war. I think in general, Amber sees people as objects. This includes all ages and all genders. People exist to do things for Amber. Even her animals exist to love her or to be obsessed with her. Nothing with Amber ever seems mutual. It's always Amber's way on Amber's time, and anything other than that is an invasion of Amber's happiness, and when she's not happy, she's not responsible if she acts out. Because who regulates emotions or handles another person's opinion? That would be so weird. At least that's how I believe Amber feels about it. Think about her ways of operation, for example. She operates or behaves in a manner that only benefits her. The eating of unhealthy foods, the staying up all night and sleeping all day, despite having animals that's needs are being neglected with her chosen schedule. And even the fact that Amber is the size that she is and therefore cannot react quickly enough if there's an emergency. How could she? She's admitted that daily life is very difficult because of her size. It's just a blessing that she's not the mother or adult caretaker of youngsters. When she's previously claimed that someone wanted her to babysit, I think she was lying. I think what most likely happened is one of her bingo buddies mentioned getting a babysitter to go out, and Amber warped it to being that she was asked to be the sitter. I guess I just find it preposterous that someone would want a barely mobile person to provide child care when so many qualified people exist just to perform that duty. Let's also take a look at Amber's diet because this would play into parenting as well. I think that she would be the type of caretaker, if we want to call it that, to purchase the child fast food all day, every day, and have the kid obese by the time he or she could walk. Because Amber's not going to take the time to cook. She's not going to put the effort into providing a well balanced, nutritious meal for anyone. If we also take into account that Amber sleeps until 3 p.m. or later on average, the child would basically be in charge of caring for themselves. And that's just the physical needs. I think the mental and emotional needs would completely be abandoned. That kid would never have a chance to have love or attention or be understood. That child would be nothing more than a neglected object there to serve his or her purpose for Amber's enjoyment. It's really how I feel. Amber has proven herself to be suffering from apparent arrested development, but combine that with her egotistical, jealous, narcissistic nature, as well as her times of explosive rage, and her beliefs that anything done in those moments are not only not her fault, but she doesn't care what happened. She doesn't even have guilt or shame that would hold her back from exploding on a child. Because she's not responsible for what happens when she's upset. Remember, she told us that herself. I don't think she has the ability to understand the obvious needs of others. She has zero emotional intelligence, much less the unspoken needs that come from empathy or even common sense. She literally can't be trusted with low-maintenance animals. I don't want to imagine her with children. I really, truly believe it would be a situation that would end up on the 5 o'clock news in time. I fear that she would lose her cool and in a jealous rage, potentially hurt someone she was caring for. She also would likely neglect another in the same way she faced the neglect by her own parents. She would be yet another generation of an adult who has a preschooler in a crib sucking on a bottle of whole milk because she doesn't give a damn and she didn't care enough to actually nurture and spend time with the child. That child would be ignored and just another obvious, unwanted responsibility and only worth the added benefits or attention that she could garner off of that child. Again, this is all in opinion, not in fact. And this may seem irrelevant or invalid, but Amber could potentially end up dating someone who has a small, young human with whom the mom would have her child with Amber while the mom was working outside of the home. Really think about that. That actually scares the shit out of me. This would put a helpless child in Amber's direct care for hours upon hours a day, under Amber's direct supervision and under her direct dangerous influence. Someone as damaged as Amber in active food addiction, arrested development of a 12-year-old, in my opinion, could pose immediate and imminent threat or danger to a baby. Let's hope it never happens. But my God, even with her last girlfriend, whom she is still very much in some capacities communicating with, I think, that woman has a child, but luckily for whatever forces were involved, she doesn't have her kid often enough where Amber was responsible, caring for that child, or having any type of influence over her. Although I have heard that she is a bit older, but regardless, Amber has proven to us that some of her partners are as deplorable as she is, and I have no doubt the next viewer, like many of the others who slide their way into Amber's DMs, who Amber ends up dating, could be of low enough quality and capacity to leave Amber in care of her child or her pets. Too many of Amber's partners have overestimated their ability to save or change Amber, because she can never be either. I think Amber's inability to have her own children is a blessing, just based on her mental and physical health problems which she refuses to address. But that blessing comes with a catch-22, because there could always be a kindred spirit, so to speak, out there just waiting to share her own child to help Amber's morbid dreams and fantasies of having another small life to control. That's what I fear could happen. Let's see what 2026 is going to bring us. Of course, I can't say for sure. I just know that some of the rumors that are floating around of some of the women Amber is currently talking to, I have read in a couple different places that one of those women, in fact, is the mother of a small child, not even school age yet. What do y'all think about that? I guess we're just going to have to wait and see how this plays out. It does not mean that Amber is going to end up in a relationship with that person, but it also doesn't mean that she won't. The fact that they are talking, allegedly, from what I've read, means that it is a possibility that Amber could end up being the caretaker and having the influence over a child so young that baby is not even in kindergarten yet. What do y'all think about that? Please let me know what your biggest fears would be if Amber were to be allowed the position to take on the role of motherhood. Share all of your views and opinions, even if they're unpopular. That's okay. That's what we're here for. That's what we do. I hope that you have a beautiful day. Be safe, be loved, be happy, and be kind to others. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.